Apple's WWDC Keynote 2025, Part 3. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Macstock Conference and Expo, coming to Crystal Lake, Illinois on July 11, 12, and 13. Get all the details and use the code MacVoices50 to take $50 off your registration at MacstockConferenceandExpo.com. I'm mixed on maps, on the preferred routes and the visited places. But the more I've thought about it, I kind of like it. I don't know the preferred routes is going to do that much for me because I'm usually one who I want efficiency. I want to get there with the least amount of time, shortest possible distance, avoiding accident backups, unlike I was able to do today driving back from Boston. I would have killed for that, but unfortunately there were no available routes. But the visited places I thought was intriguing. That's going to be something that you are required, if I understood the demo correctly, you're required to say, I want to save this place. But I can think of a few times when I've been somewhere and I wish I had saved it because now I can't remember the store or the restaurant. I just kind of know roughly where it was. But the idea that I could just do that and come right back to it, I found potentially useful. Anybody else? Nobody else?
I have such a small range. I mean, I'm 5 minutes away from campus, and so there's two ways I can go there, and it really doesn't matter each way. So there aren't a lot of places that I'm not like a salesman or somebody who's going to all sorts of different locations. So it doesn't impact me very much.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I think it could be something useful. I mean, I have to drive through a couple different neighborhoods on my commute to work, and through these different neighborhoods that I'm commuting through, inevitably, if I leave at certain times of the day, I'm in like a school bus route or something, and so it may be the most efficient route, based on miles or speed limits and things like that, but it may not be the route I want to take, and so I think by being able to adjust it in a little bit more of a way that I like to go, could be useful.
The example I heard cited on some other shows today was motorcycle riders who they're just out. This is not a disparagement, but they're more interested in the experience of the ride as opposed to the efficiency of the ride. And that said, okay, now I get it. Because up to that point, I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. Or if you're on vacation and you want to take the scenic routes and you don't have any pressure for time, then maybe you do want to draw out a particular route that takes you to different spots along the way that you want to hit. So the more I thought about it, the more I thought, okay, there are some use cases, maybe even for me. But I love the idea that Apple has given us this option instead of just the ways, here are your multiple routes, and here's what it's going to cost you in tolls, and here's what it's going to cost you in time. That you can do this the way you want to. So I really, really, really like that. Let's see. Britt, do you have time to stick around for one more?
Nah, I should head out.
Okay. All right. Then I'm going to say thank you so much for coming. I'm delighted that you weren't called to be sequestered in a jury and that you could join us tonight. Where can folks find you?
You can find me if you're looking for my grown-up stuff at Conquer.Consulting. Grown-up's a loose word. There's Star Wars everywhere. And on the social media places, mostly ADD Liberator. Although, what's weird in this current world we live in right now, my favorite social media platform, and it's not like I'm on it very much, is probably LinkedIn. I realized I am grown up. Like I am, my friends are on LinkedIn years old. Anyway, I'm not ADD Liberator there, but you can find me under my name probably. But I'm ADD Liberator most other places. And also you can find me at Macstock next month.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank
All
you,
right.
Brett.
See you later.
Good to have
Bye.
you. Take care.
Thanks.
Oh, shoot. I meant to tell her that if she gets on a jury with Jeff Gamet, just plan for a long, long run. Oh, well. Marty, I want to aim the next one at you because I know we've had some conversations here about your use of Plod. And I wanted to see what your thoughts were, and everybody else, of course, but yours in particular on the live translation and the recording of things. Is this something that has the potential to impact you?
For me and international travel, I think it would be great. I mean, if I was doing more international travel, I think it would be great. Well, frankly, there's domestic situations where I think it would be great too. Here's the thing that I was waiting to hear, and it's unclear at this point. Will live translation work through AirPods? So am I going to have to look at a screen? Am I going to have a device where I'm going to get the audio out of that device? Or can I send and receive live translation through using my AirPods Pro or the next rendition of AirPods Pro that we've heard about? Because then that turns into a whole different situation. I'm not walking around with a phone in a foreign country, or at least not holding it out to get the information and then pressing a button and sending the audio back. I have the ability to listen and interact back and forth with folks with different languages.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering the same thing because we saw some devices at at CES that were more of that, and I immediately thought of those. You know, how much of this is going to overlap into those dedicated devices. So, but I'm with you. You know, I mean, we're starting to almost talk about Star Trek's Universal Translator.
Yeah,
and you know, so. And of course, we have to bring up Star Trek every keynote at least once.
Fascinating.
Brian, was that the Vulcan salute, or was that a raise your hand? I have a comment. I couldn't tell.
No, the salute.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Vulcan raising their hand because they have a comment. They're really not doing a salute all the time. They're just saying, I would really like to say something.
Well, logic dictates.
Oh, man. Eric, I'm going to drag you in on the next one. I'm not sure if this applies to you or not. The Apple Music announcements. And the two that I made note of were the auto mix and music pins. And if it doesn't mean anything to you, maybe you don't even remember them.
Yeah, I don't even remember music pins. The auto mix, that sounded kind of cool. I can't think of a single place I would actually use it, but it maybe one day. I've got a good music collection. It would be nice to play it and have it automatically do the transitions, but yeah.
I'm going to try and convince my son to fire the DJ for his wedding. And then he could have the first Apple Auto Mix dance wedding thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would go that route.
Yes.
I used to spin in clubs, and it was like you marked every record beats per minute. So you would be able to move up and move down. And when I saw this auto mix thing, it's like, man, that's what I used to do in clubs.
Yeah.
I want to see how it works because every time and not just Apple's apps, but every music app, when they try to do the transitions between tracks, I just find it annoying because in so many tracks, there's always something like right toward the end that I want to hear, and it either washes it out or changes it or does something to it. And so I tend to just, unless it's a live album, I just listen to track, silence, track, silence, track, silence. And so I'm willing to give this a shot, but the idea that it's going to, did I understand it correctly? It's going to change the music, the beat of the music to fit in with the next track?
They can only do so much of that, though,
I hope
before
so,
it
because-
destroys the track.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
But
Music. Oh, go ahead, Ben. Sorry, please.
I think this is for people who like certain genres that are not us.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, with the people who prefer who for the people who appreciated the little bit of rad and roll, I think are going to still be more for the okay, this full track than that track.
Hmm.
But I think for people who do like a little bit of dance music, this will be something that really keeps the beat going.
Yep. Speak for yourself, Ben. I've got a rave to go to after this.
Yeah, now I'm just picturing an iPhone sitting on a
Yes.
on a stand,
Oh.
a hat. It's hat backwards.
Yeah.
With 2 turntables.
I'm with you, Eric.
Oh.
That was just disturbing. That was just disturbing what we both saw. I can't.
I got to get my glow sticks out.
And if Jeff were here, he'd say, "Was that?" No, never mind.
Where's my MDA?
So we're going from a rave with Marty to what Brian just put in our private chat, which is almost as disturbing.
I was mentioning the where they go between tracks. It's like Weird Al's Polkapalooza songs, where a bunch of contemporary songs kind of mixed together, and one finishes, it kind of slows or speeds up the beat to get the next song going.
Who are you people, and what have you what have you done? Oh my God!
Chuck will be going into witness protection now.
Let's see. We talked live translate. Oh, the music pins. I just want to throw in an advocation for the music pins. I thought this was a really, really great idea. That because I don't think I can do it now, or if I have been able to, I've kind of missed it. But usually I have to go through and search artists, or pick. They go to playlist, then go to the playlist I want, and if I can take the individual ones and pin those at the top, then I really like that idea, because then I can jump to where I want to go to with just one tap, and I can probably change them out relatively easily, I would think. So if today is a music that I'm really interested in, this kind of music, or if I'm going on vacation, let's say, and I want some beach music, I'd pull that playlist up, put it up there. But then, in midwinter, the beach music is probably not going to be in my pins. So I really like that. I thought that was once again just a nice little user interface tweak that will make a difference for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, especially since playlists became really difficult to find after one of their last updates.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to a book on tape, that's the other one. If you have like a book on tape playlist or whatever, having that just disappear into all of your other music while you're driving, and then trying to figure out how to convince something to start it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eric, to that point too, we haven't talked about CarPlay, because all they did was basically show, and now we have widgets in CarPlay. So I'm going to be interested to see if that translates over into the CarPlay interface, because I'm with you. Mm-hmm. That would be really nice to be able to just have those pins there available that I could have pre-programmed. Good point.
When can we expect anything? Because I, of course, got in the car and took my 3-minute drive to campus and decided to, hook up CarPlay and look for any significant differences in it. And that the Keynote made it look really cool, but that doesn't apparently translate to my car. So I don't know if it's not fully functional yet through CarPlay, or it's just my car.
Time will tell.
Yeah. Don't know. I haven't heard, except for CarPlay, or is it CarPlay Plus, or
Ultra?
Ultra. Thank you. I haven't heard of anything that is car dependent, unless I've forgotten about it because it did or didn't apply to me. But I think CarPlay is just CarPlay on everything except the CarPlay Ultra cars. So there's still hope, Marty.
Good.
But your other comment, I mean, is there a chance that we will hear you singing anytime in the near future using your iPhone?
Nope. 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 Let me
Which,
make myself clear. Nope.
Except
which
at Macstock.
No, I will be in another room or I'll be at Portello's. And the good bet is on Portello's.
I can see that.
So, Eric, is there a chance we might hear you sing a little karaoke?
No.
You
No
always
one
have to
wants
ask,
that.
You always have to ask Eric right when he's taking a drink because you could get a spit take out of him.
Exactly. I was trying to time it, and I almost got
It was really close.
Brian, I gather you as well.
No, not for me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I need more Apple TV 3s now.
Continuity. I felt like they kind of rushed over this one, but just the fact that the phone panel will be up there with all my favorites, and I can search contacts right there. I thought this was really, really useful, or will be really, really useful. Have any of you had a chance to try it?
Mm-hmm.
Who said that? Ben? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it as cool as it looks?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot less complicated now.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're pretty much at time. We could go on for a long time because there are a lot of things. I do want to one more time though, because we started out early, and Dave's not here, and I'm sorry that he won't be part of the conversation. But I wanted to dig in just a little bit to the Vision Pro update, because that seemed to have a lot of meat to it. It felt like it felt like one of the meatiest from a useful feature standpoint. But I don't have a Vision Pro, so. Eric, Marty, I'll let you guys comment on whether that perception is accurate.
The new Persona, much better.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Much higher resolution, doesn't look ghost-like. It's no longer a severed head and two hands. you get enough of the body to get to the name on the shirt, and so that's going to be appreciated by everybody.
There's a couple of things that I was surprised because you waited for it and waited for it and waited for it, and then eventually they got into Vision Pro. And there are some things that weren't really emphasized. They did kind of say, "Oh, there's going to be a whole new interface for it." Well, yeah, and I mentioned it before. Folders, just a big ask for me, and a dream come true to be able to manage apps on that in a different way. New inputs. They talked about the Logitech stylus and the PlayStation VR2 controllers that can be used for people who are porting that stuff over. That sounds really exciting. Of course, you won't see this Muse stylus till sometime in the fall, but they were able to promo it. And on the show last night, I think everybody said they would get one. They don't know what they're going to do with it yet, but everybody said they would get one. It just looks like a cool interface for that. And then finally, I had trouble with this yesterday, and Eric and Dave both said, no, you need to do this. The idea that I can eye scroll now, and I was trying with it so hard, I felt like I was trying to physically take my eyeballs and move the screen up with it. And it's much more of a subtle movement in terms of being able to look at a lower part of a screen, and then it starts creeping up for you without doing any movements with your hands or any gestures with your hands. It is pretty cool.
Although you can make a gesture, use the force, and if you look just right, scrolls up, scrolls down.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Britt wasn't here for that.
Shared spatial experiences. So if we have two headsets, we can sit down together and share an app essentially and work on the app together. So you think of that in terms of work or work teams, the availability of doing that.
And that one was really cool too, because once you've started that, you can invite other people that aren't local over FaceTime to join. And so you can have FaceTime computer and phone users also join in, and it will figure out, what the object or table or whatever is and place you around it so everybody can see. That was kind of cool too.
And then secured data sharing. So from an enterprise standpoint, if I'm working in a medical situation, yeah, I can do surgery with it. That's cool. That's the kind of stuff that we've seen. But if I'm putting client records on that, that's kind of a problem with HIPAA and with, privacy information, where now that is all locked down or can be locked down as secure data. So very cool.
Darn, Eric, you said something there that I wanted to ask about. Oh, I know. I was not clear. So from what you just said, there is that mode is you have to be in close proximity to each other, and then you can invite somebody else in.
So as far as I can tell, you have to have at least 2 Vision Pro users. And so if there are 2 within proximity of each other, the option shows up where you can basically share visions between the 2 users. Once you have that set up, you can invite additional users over FaceTime. So like if you're playing a game, the 2 nearby users would be on one team, and you could invite 2 more people, they'd be on the other team, and you could have a game table between everybody and then play cards or whatever. Or
like tennis.
Yeah, or if you want to sit and watch a movie, or if you have like an immersive view or immersive, object thing you want to look at, you can start looking at the object and you get a little icon at the base of the window. You invite the other person within range, and then all of a sudden you're both in the same space looking at the same object in space. But each person, looking from where they are in the room. So it's like you're both standing in the same room with that object in the room with you. If you invite additional people, they also get added to the room, and it's all kind of the same space. Although if it's like a computer or an iPad being invited in, they come in as a window, not as a hologrammy kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. I watched it and it's like, well, okay, this is interesting. I mean, I'm trying to picture 2 people sitting on a sofa watching the movie with both wearing Vision Pro headsets, but hey, why not? If the experience is good enough, we'll see how it goes. I am surprised though not to hear either one of you mention what I thought was kind of a surprise. And that was the hand controllers. And maybe that you felt like that's, I don't know, I'm putting words in your mouth. Is that just a natural evolution of where we've been? Because that seems to have been a sticking point up till now for Vision Pro, and especially with some certain kinds of games.
Yeah, well, I think the Logitech stylus is the beginning of that, and now support for PlayStation VR2 controllers. Daniel, who was on our show last night, who is kind of the gamer of the group, said, yeah, but you can't buy those controllers without already owning the device. Yeah. So they haven't sold them as separate. But it still is inviting folks who have that device to be able to integrate with Vision Pro. So you're starting to see that. That was a bit of the announcements, or particularly around the PlayStation stuff. I don't know if you're going to use the Logitech stylus for gaming. You can do it for all sorts of scribbling in midair and note taking and things like that if you want to do that. And that's what the demo was about.
Yeah, it might work
but
for a Harry Potter game.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean the inputs are there. The external inputs besides hand gestures are there.
I think having these physical objects that can interact with it really opens things up to the more traditional VR experiences that already exist. I mean, despite they being somewhat similar looking devices, so far, I mean, Apple Vision Pro really hasn't been a true competitor to the Meta Quest. I mean, this gets it kind of more into that area, which you're going to need that if you ever get to like a Air or a Vision, no, standard Vision.
Well, let me turn that back on you, Ben. Meta has not been a very good competition for the computing powers of the Apple Vision Pro.
No. Which is why I think Android XR is going to eventually eat their lunch.
Yeah, I mean you can't easily compare what is primarily a gaming device without the structure for doing productivity on it with a productivity device that isn't doing gaming. It's just kind of an unfair comparison.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say that the thing that I really I liked about the series of announcements is that you can. I don't want to be fully immersed all the time. I really want my reality enhanced. I spent years, waving a pencil and expecting something to happen. Now that actually works. I want to keep going with that. I really like the idea that I can throw a series of pictures or virtual windows on the wall in my office and pictures and virtual walls in another room in the house and pictures in the walls, in the hallway. Reboot my Vision Pro, walk upstairs and it's still there, walk down to my office, it's still there. And I can see all of those objects and they interact and they actually show real stuff outside the window or real video or whatever. I can still see the dog come up and say, I want to go outside. Or I can still see the cat tell me that, I've been ignoring her and sink toenails into my leg. I want the mix of reality with, extra stuff that I can just throw into the world without it actually really being there.
It's a guy who wants reality, but has a dog that talks to him.
You don't?
No.
On that note, I think we're gonna wrap up because I'm afraid we're gonna get into some things that are best served addressed by Marty and his couch. Guys, thanks for being here. We lost a couple panel members along the way, but this has been a great discussion. We could go on and on because there was so much. I encourage everyone to go and watch the whole keynote. It really, I think, was a good, solid keynote.
Yep.
I know not everybody agrees with that because they have their priorities. My personal priorities are, do the things that were shown affect me in a positive way? Are they things I would use? And probably more than a lot of keynotes in recent memory, there are a lot of little things here that add up to a real experience I'm looking forward to. It's the first time I'm going to be very, very, very tempted to install betas.
What?
That ought to tell you something.
Wow.
Join the dark side, Chuck.
Come, Chuck.
Let's go around the room here. Let folks know where they can find you all when you're not here. And Ben, I'm going to start with you because you're not here very often, but I'm delighted you made it this time. Where can folks connect with you?
Well, most Tuesdays you can find me working, much to my chagrin. On social media, you can find me at Ben Rathig. You can find my writings and ravings at rathigtech.com. You can also occasionally find me on such shows as this one, In Touch with iOS, and the Big and Mac Show on the British Tech Network.
Worst British accent ever. Thank you, Ben. Good to have
Hello,
you.
chop.
To the folks in the UK, I'm really sorry. Brian, Brian Flanagan Authors, thank you for being here. Where can folks find you?
Yeah, best place to find me, my website, Brian8944. And then please do look forward. I got a new podcast called On the Desk of Brian, and third episode should be releasing on Thursday.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you. Appreciate it.
Eric Bolden, the man under the weeping peach. Where can folks find you?
Tears flowing down. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to. And Mondays with yeah. It's been a long week. Marty will rescue me. Marty's in virtual land. Tuesdays here, Thursdays in iOS with mostly Mac OS and other news, and Thursdays in with In Touch with iOS. Yeah, that's all I got. I've been up way too many hours staring at nothing but videos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's so much really good stuff coming out.
Yeah, I agree.
It is. You need a Vision Pro, Chuck.
Are you referring to Vision Pro videos or just content in general?
Well, just everything. Like if you look at all of the stuff with the iPad, the Vision Pro is basically an iPad with virtual add-ons. So all that work they went to do spiffing up the iPad, that means the Vision Pro is also getting a bunch of help in its code, and then they're adding a bunch of additional stuff. Even something as simple as the phone stuff. Eventually, you'll get your phone talking to somebody else's phone and coordinating schedules so that no one's waiting. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I see they're ready to answer the phone now. How is your person right? Yeah, they're all there. Quick, make a phone call between the two of you. Done. No, little too soon for that.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's it. I felt like with this keynote we could sort of see a lot of things that may be coming, and extrapolate a little bit on things we would like to do. And I feel like Apple knows that. So, and maybe I'm just fanboying out, but I really, really don't believe that this time. Last but not least, Marty Gensius, thank you for being here as always. Where can folks connect with you?
I'll try and keep this brief. Gensius, Jencius at mastodon.social or Gensius, Jencius at bluesky.com. Monday nights with Eric, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We live stream Vision Profiles, and David's on there now, and we've got Daniel, and we'll have other guests as time comes along talking about what's happened this week with Apple Vision Pro and other AR, VR headsets. Tuesday nights here with Chuck. It's great to be here. And Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS. And pretty much when I can get out of being at the office, Fridays on the Mac Show. And then other projects you want to find out about that I'm doing, go to the podtalk.net. Oh, yeah. The glass cleaner microfiber cloths with the podtalk.net. Yeah, I have some special surprises coming up at this Macstock, I have some other goodies that will kind of blow you away. So
Do they work
that's
on
all I
liquid?
got.
Do they
What?
work on liquid glass, Marty?
No, I don't think. I don't think you'd
Huh.
want to have them work on liquid glass. I'm looking for the prototype that I have, but it's not around here, so I can't show it. And
Okay.
we'll just save that for Macstock.
That sounds good. Speaking of Macstock, I wanted to make sure we wrapped up with this. Macstock Conference and Expo is coming up in July in Crystal Lake, Illinois. I think everybody on the panel that was here tonight is going to be there except Ben. I know, Ben, you can't make it this year, but that means all of us, a lot of other people you see on the show, and just a lot of our friends. And so we really want you to join us. So register at macstockconferenceandexpo.com. My discount code is MacVoices50. That'll save you $50 off the registration price. As we're doing the Road to Macstock series here on MacVoices, every one of our speakers has their own code. Use their codes, use my code. I don't care. The most important thing is that we see you at Macstock, because it's going to be a blast. There are going to be so many great presentations and just a lot of fun had from top to bottom. So get there. Until next Tuesday and MacVoices Live, I'm Chuck Joyner. We'll see you then at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.